Hey, what's going on? So by now you're probably sick and tired of farming No West, and Apoc's gonna be here pretty soon, so here's a little event guide for you to distract you from No West farming hell because you all love event guides for some reason. Oh, and remember how I said you should save apples to use mainly during lottery events? Well, you might want to start thinking about munching on some of them here, like how Suisei likes drinking apple juice whenever she does karaoke streams, or how Exia keeps talking about apple pie every other skill activation. The Apoc raids will give you everything in terms of currency, both shop and ladder, which for this event are the Drackle coins or whatever. Different raids offer different types of shop currencies, but they'll only feature them one at a time, so you only need to bother equipping one type of gacha CE per raid, which will make things a bit easier to handle. But all raids will drop Drackle coins, so no matter which raid you do, you'll always be progressing up the ladder. Raids will also drop a large variety of mats, basically every single mat in the game, in fact, if I'm not mistaken. So if there's a particular mat that you're looking for, it should be featured in a raid at some point for you to farm. In the description of the video down below should be links to Google Docs with aggregated drop data for each material featured in the event. So take a look at it to see if it's worth farming those mats for you. Keep in mind that technically the ratio of AP to drop is worse for every single mat except for Scarabs, where it's barely more AP efficient to farm them in the event itself rather than the best free quest. However, you still have some pretty high drop rate percentages for certain mats like Fluids, Seeds, Fangs, Stingers, Stakes, Chains, and Bones, and you're farming for these mats in pairs as well, alongside shop and ladder currencies, so it's still worth farming for many of these mats anyway because you're just getting so much other shit at the same time. Also note that each raid should also drop lots of QP. Depending on your drops, both your actual QP stacks themselves and the gold currency drops, if you're fighting raids that drop them, which you can sell for QP if you're done clearing shop or because you need the QP more, you can get more QP from these raids than the 40 AP QP dailies themselves, which isn't something that I can say often. In other words, if JP is to be trusted, your overall QP gain from these Apoc raids should be pretty fucking insane if you can min-max it. And let's not forget that most of these raids are literally single target, as in you only fight one enemy and you're done, which can make your individual runs super quick if you're just one-shotting them each time. So you have the option to treat these raids as kind of an alternate QP daily that also gives you skill mats, so bring double Mona Lisa if you have it if you're done farming everything else that you want. The way the raids work in this event is a bit confusing at first, and I myself might make it sound a bit more complicated than it actually is here in this video, but once the event drops and you see how the raids work, it should make more sense. The raids are split into 5 stages as seen here, and the first 4 raids are against solo bosses. The way the raids work is that stage 1 raids spawn right off the bat once the event opens. They go for a bit over a half a day in total, but they're also split into 2 parts themselves. If the server kills the first Shakespeare before he's scheduled to disappear, the second Shakespeare boss spawns right away. But if the second Shakespeare gets killed before his scheduled ending time, nothing spawns after him until it's time for stage 2, and the same thing repeats for stage 2. For stage 3, the same concept applies, but now there are more raid bosses involved. So depending on the server's progress, you can have different bosses up at the same time that don't really look like they're following the schedule. For example, we can have Mordred, Siegfried, and Astolfo active at the same time because the server happened to kill Shakespeare off first, but once it's time for Fran, Nyanta, and Avisbro to spawn, everyone else in the first half of stage 3 will go away. So because of this, for the first 4 stages, all raids will have at most 3 raids active at any given time. But you need to pay attention to the server's progress to make sure that you can farm the raids that you want. Finally, stage 5 is where raids start giving you 2 enemies to fight instead of 1. So make sure to switch from single target DPSs to AoEs, or bring double single targets and Plugsu if you don't have good AoEs. Again, the same concept from before applies, but this time there are 5 raids active at once for you to choose from. Because the event is 2 weeks long, raids run for the first week, but after that first week, the raids are gone completely and you can't do them again. So this means that you have to rush raids for the first week if you want to clear shop and ladder and farm for mats and QP as efficiently as possible in this event. So if your name isn't Real Emerald, Lily Akina, Plushy Mistress, Hong, or any other challenge quest memer trying to do free-to-play runs or TAs on that shit, the moment you get into this event, you go straight for the raids and cash out on everything you need because you have the entire second week of the event when you're just sitting standing around with your dick in your hand wondering when Scotty's gonna show up, so you might as well leave the main quest and free quest clears for then. A few extra miscellaneous notes here at the end in no particular order. Keep in mind that while raid bosses can spawn in at different times while they're active, the raids themselves each have the same drop table. Or in other words, for example, Jack's raids can show up at different times, but will always drop the same shit. Think of the raids like they're just rotating pretty much, and you'll be good. This mainly applies to the first 4 stages though, because the Heavensfield raids, or in other words stage 5, feature bullets and frost, which aren't featured in the first 4, so make sure to keep an eye on the drop table during stage 5. You just need to refill on raids. Like I said before, free quests are basically useless because of the raids, and they're only there to give you a handful extra apples, or to let people who slacked off on the first week of the event for some reason to have a way to clear shop and ladder since they missed the raids. If you're a degen farmer, you should be able to clear shop and ladder really fast just off the raids alone, and once the raids are gone, just use nat AP to go through free quests and the main quest, unless of course you need to go through the main quest first in order to get access to the raids. Farm for the shop CE as fast as you can. It boosts the Draco coin drops you get, so buy out the copies from shop and then immediately limit break it so you can blitz through ladder for the ladder CEs that give you extra damage for your DPS servants, whoever they are. Or if for some reason you didn't roll gotcha for CEs, I guess you can stack shop CEs in your backline without limit breaking it first to go through the ladder even faster. For those of you who have Berserker Kentucky, this event is basically Solomon 2.0 for him, so put him up on your support if he's got max skills and good MP levels, or if he's at only MP 1, maybe stick Black Grail on him if you have it until you've gotten one of those ladder Cs to put on him instead. He's definitely going to be raid MVP for those of you who have him. Basically, look for your best Buster meme DPSs for each raid. Even free-to-play servants should work, assuming you can get them to charge somehow for them to MP immediately. For example, Bedivere, Waver, and Merlin should work against Lancer or Zerk raids, though he may need a copy of the ladder C to help him do it. And finally, if you have Limit Broken Mona Lisa, put it on your Waver, if you rolled him during Go West rerun that is, in your caster support slot instead of your rider slot, so that people who want to farm QP can rely on support waivers to do it rather than fish through rider slot. If you don't have it limit broken and you bait people into taking a regular Mona Lisa, I'm gonna get Watame to come beat that ass. Or maybe that's what you want, I don't know. And daily reminder that Chloe and Rider Kentucky are gonna be your raid champs for this event if you don't have Berserker Kentucky. Oh, what was that? You don't have them? Sucks to suck, nerd! Since I should have this video out while No West is still going on, if you haven't rolled your own waiver yet and he's still got a solo raid up or 2 left, you might want to try rolling for him. He's going to be really nice to have during Apoc raids. But if you rolled Sanzo instead, that's also good because she has that juicy 80% battery and you fight Jack as one of the starting raids. Basically, any servant you have leveled who's single target and has some kind of battery is valuable for this event because Waver Merlin is a thing. Even if their battery is only 20%, that's okay because NA has the Babylonian Mystic Code 2 years early. And remember that its third skill gives 10% charge to let 20% chargers fit into Waver Merlin memes that everyone's gonna spam during these raids. And what do you know? It even has a party buster buff on it. How fucking convenient. Lastly, take note of the event bonuses that Apoc servants have and use them to your advantage if you can. This is part of the reason why Berserker Kentucky is gonna wreck the first 4 raid stages so hard because he gets a free 20% damage boost. Also make sure to limit break the ladder CA as soon as you can so that your DPS servants have a much easier time one-shotting raid bosses. And that should be it. Thanks for watching, and go roll Waver if you don't have him yet, and maybe you won't suffer through the raids as much.